It is Wednesday, September 17th, and let's talk about this eclipse that we have coming in just a few days. So, you probably have heard many times that we have this new moon and eclipse coming very soon, right there in the sign of Virgo. This is the last eclipse of the year. This is closing out eclipse season. The portal is closing, if you will. Eclipse season, we know, brings fated happenings, fated changes, because it is with the nodes of fate. You can see here, this is the North Node and the South Node right up there with this new moon that is happening in Virgo, right? South Node, it's a South Node eclipse. And so what that means is that this eclipse is all about letting go. It's about releasing. It's not about starting something new necessarily right now, although there is something, paradoxically, there's something that is emerging, that is growing within us, that is wanting to be birthed. And with this new moon and eclipse, we're really looking at the shadow side of Virgo, right? It's at 29 fucking degrees. It's the very last degree in the zodiac. It is the fullest expression of the Virgo energy. So we are working to release the shadow side of Virgo and how that shows up within each of our lives, right? And that can show up like not starting something, like not moving in the direction of your dreams, of your goals, of what it is that you really want, out of fear of judgment, out of fear of criticism, out of fear of just never feeling ready, right? That is the shadow of Virgo. They can feel perpetually unprepared and not ready because they're not perfect, right? And they have this exacting eye that can see, that can easily point out all of the imperfections in the world. That's kind of what it's meant to do. It's meant to see where the problems are, where things aren't quite whole or perfect, and to fix them. And so we're looking at this tendency within ourselves. We're looking at the tendency to critique, to, pick apart, to judge, to overanalyze things. This is in regards to not just ourselves and how we show up in the world, but again, with the things that we want to do, moving forward, moving out there, putting yourself out there in the world. We're looking at the shadow side of Virgo that is keeping us stuck. Again, we're also looking at the mental patterns, the looping, the mental looping, the contents of our mind. This is like the deepest examination and cleaning out of the mind, truly. We are becoming so aware of our thoughts and how they're directly creating our reality, how our own thoughts can create unhealthy responses within our physical body, right? Because Virgo rules, it's connected to the nervous system. So when Virgo is not operating, at its highest expression, it can be stuck in like the anxiousness, the worry, the fear, the insecurities, the nervous system getting worked up. And so we're being aware of the shadow side, because that is what the South Node indicates. The South Node represents our karmic past. It's things that we're here to release, to put down, to stop carrying, and to move towards this North Node here that is in the sign of Pisces, which is all about trusting. It's about surrender. It is about your connection to source, to the divine, being led from that place, not getting caught in the worry, the fear, the anxiety, the how's it all going to work out? I need to have everything perfectly planned. I need all the details in order to know that this thing is going to work. That is what we are releasing. And so as we move towards this new moon and eclipse, you could notice a lot coming up in the mind. Again, that mental chatter, the looping, the rumination, just noticing what is happening in the mind. And this is a beautiful time to put down those thought patterns, right? To South Node, to actively release that energy. Notice where it's showing up in your life and how it's keeping you from moving forward. There's a lot that is going on underneath the surface right now with this new moon that is coming. Maybe it feels like we're closing out really big chapters in our life, and with that can come a sense of grief and sadness for, having to let things go, having to release things. And simultaneously, there's maybe fear around what the new path is going to look like or how you're going to get there, because we don't have that information yet. Like, it's not completely clear. We don't have all the details, but we have this like feeling within us of what it is that we want to move towards, or the, direction of our goals, our dreams, however it's showing up in your life, whatever area of life it's presenting itself for you, that's going to be determined by the house that it's in and what's happening within your specific birth chart. But whatever is arising within us right now, it's like this new goal, this new dream, this new mission that we're kind of taking the time to nurture. we're not fully putting it out there yet because first things need to be released here, right? South Node in Virgo, we're releasing things so that we can move towards that space, and we need to kind of sit in this in between space of like the void, like emptiness almost, of not, closing out the previous chapter and not quite stepping into the next one. It's in between fucking portals. This is eclipse season, working with the nodes of fate. One door is closing, another door is opening, and then, there's some buffering time in that in between space. This eclipse and new moon being opposing Saturn and Neptune here, there is a quality of slow and steady work, like behind the scenes, the work that you're doing, the dedicated work, whatever that looks like, showing up for your mission in life, right? Saturn is the planet that represents our great work, in quotes. It's like what we feel is worth it to invest our time, our money, our energy in. And so there's something that we're wanting to build. There's like this new foundation that is being built. It is in the process right now. It is in conversation with this new moon here. It could feel like you're being pulled in opposite directions because it's in opposition to planets that are furthest apart from each other. And so you can feel like you're being pulled in different directions, or like there's a lot of things that you want to do. Again, there's a lot going on in the mind. There's a lot of mental chatter, a lot of mental activity with this Virgo energy, the ruling planet being Mercury of this new moon. So when that gets to be too much, when there's too much mental chatter, there's too much of the Virgo energy, right? An excess of the Virgo energy, the antidote, the medicine, the balance for that is always found here in Pisces, the opposite sign, and that is where the North Node is. So when there's too much worry, stress, focusing on the details, we are meant to call on that Pisces energy to surrender, to release control, to trust, to come back into the body. Again, this is a high expression of the Virgo energy is coming into the physical body, slowing down, breathing, connecting your breath and your body, being here in your body, and understanding that when we quiet the mind, that is when Mercury is functioning at its highest, right? It is a clear channel for source to flow through. You can see the little antennas there, information flowing through Mercury. And so we're in that quiet, grounded space. We receive the insight, the messages, the guidance that we need. And with this new moon being in Virgo, Virgo is a mutable earth sign. So, okay, we're creating a plan. We're going in this new direction. We don't quite have all the details. Maybe we'll have to course correct along the way. And Virgo is really good at that because it is an adaptable energy. It is mutable earth. It can take in information and it can adapt. So there could be some changes, to the plan, again, with all of the ideas and all of the different options that are kind of swirling around in our minds. Maybe we're going to make a few changes to this plan, but the overall general theme is set. I would imagine you can feel that living within you, whatever that looks like to you. Okay, and now let me tie in the Sabian symbol of this placement of Virgo, where this eclipse is going to be. So it's at 29 degrees of Virgo, as you can see up there, and each degree of every single sign in the zodiac has a Sabian symbol. It is like a picture that is kind of representing the energy of this placement of Virgo at 28 to 29 degrees. And so the Sabian symbol for this is a man gaining secret knowledge, ancient knowledge as foundation for change. And so this image that we can have, this little story of the man seeking knowledge, there's another image of him reading a scroll, reading occult knowledge, trying to access and gain new insights and new information. And so just kind of playing with that image and seeing how it is connected to this eclipse, it is connected to this time that we're in. It's like we've been gathering so much information, and it's now here, like it lives inside of us. We have the tools, we have the knowledge, we have the information, and now it's dropping the Virgo shadow, the shadow of feeling like they're not ready, they're not perfect, they're not prepared, releasing that and just starting. That is how you move past the shadow, the procrastination side of Virgo, dropping the doubts and trusting North Node and Pisces, right? That is the direction that we're moving in. So I hope that this is helpful and supports you in working with this upcoming eclipse and new moon in the sign of Virgo. I hope it's a beautiful one for all of us and you're able to fully let go.